Hi everyone! Welcome to 26 weeks of journaling prompts for self-growth nerds. This is week 7 and we have the letter J. We are going to talk about the growth mindset. This concept was invented by Carol S. Dweck, and it's all about believing that our intelligence and our capabilities can be developed as opposed to believing that they are fixed, which is the fixed mindset. If I was to ask you to describe yourself, what would you say? If you had asked me that about 5 or 6 years ago, I would have said, I'm someone who's creative, clumsy, bit of a dork. And so if you were to tell me that I would someday through hike the Pacific Crest Trail, I would have told you, no, impossible. Something like that is not for someone like me, because I had a fixed idea of what it is I can do and what it is I cannot do. Based on what? Just based on the past, based on the evidence I have gathered throughout my life. I have no evidence whatsoever that I can do something this athletic. And so that means I will never be able to do so. But it's silly when you think about it. If you only take your past to determine what you're going to be able to do in the future, you're just bound to repeat the same life over and over again without ever surprising yourself. What changes everything is when you open yourself up to the idea that you actually might surprise yourself if you give it a real try. What is it that you wish you were able to do that you just assume is impossible for someone like you? Maybe you want to start a business, but you think that wouldn't work because you've never been good with money. Maybe you want to learn the piano, but you think that's never going to work. I'm not someone who follows through. Maybe you want to get into public speaking, but you think, well, I'm really shy and introverted. That's never going to work. What if you're wrong though? All it takes is that you decide you are willing to be uncomfortable. If you're willing to put your ego aside, it takes a lot of humility to grow, because when you start doing something new, something you've never really done before, you're going to face a lot of setbacks and criticism. And you have to be able to move through that and learn from it instead of making it mean something awful about you as a human being. You have to be willing to feel the discomfort of being a beginner at something. And it's hard because in our culture, we value success, we value perfection, we value looking good and smart and talented. But instead, you've got to rewire your whole value system and decide, from now on, I'm gonna value trial and error. I'm gonna value imperfection. I'm gonna value showing up and pulling my sleeves up, getting my hands dirty. You also have to start rewiring your self-concept to open yourself up to the idea that maybe you can become someone that you have not been up to now. Just give yourself a space where you can start dreaming. Maybe I can become a thru hiker. You cannot know until you have tried really hard again and again and again. I always wanted to write a book, but always thought I was not good enough for it. I don't have a high quality vocabulary. I'm pretty simple and straightforward in the way I say things. I'm not very poetic. I had all of these excuses for not giving it a try. But one day I got tired of myself and just decided to give it a go. I was willing to be uncomfortable. I was willing to feel like a beginner who doesn't really know what she's doing in order to see what I was capable of. I sat down 5 days a week for 5 months, and at the end of those 5 months, guess what? I had the first draft of my book. And that feeling of doing something you didn't think was possible for someone like you is amazing. Once you have shown yourself that you can do so much more that you think you can, that the possibilities are so much bigger for yourself than what you had imagined, you just want to do it again and again and again. So not only did I through hike the Pacific Crest Trail, I wrote the first draft of my book, but I also doubled the amount of money that I thought I was capable of making within a year. All of these challenges are what makes my life feel purposeful and fulfilling. So now I'm turning it back to you. When's the last time you've done something that you thought was impossible? Maybe you've been a little bit too comfortable recently. So let me ask you these 3 questions. 1, what do you wish you could do? You can make a list here. 2, why do you think you can't? And 3, In what ways might you be wrong about that? In this last one, I want you to gently rebel against the idea you have about what you can and cannot do, okay? And I would love to read about what comes up for you in the comments below. That's it for this week. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye!